The Blue Jays take on the Rays 1:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Tampa Bay Rays are minus $1.25 with the total at 8.5 juice to the over. The Blue Jays are plus 105 for some money line cash. And if you like them on the run line, they're minus $2 catching the 1.5. Ross Stripling for Toronto, Ryan Yarbrough for Tampa Bay. And despite another below average day on my Patreon website, we still improved to 2-0 in our last couple of Major League Baseball tier package picks on that Patreon page. And the good news is we have another MLB tier package pick going off here today. We're also 3-1 in our last 4 Major League Baseball tier package picks in that very same category. We currently have over 900 members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to see which one of these free picks on my YouTube channel that I actually bet on personally, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And despite the Rays' current win streak, Ryan Yarbrough comes into today's start with a 4.34 ERA. This Tampa Bay lineup also strikes out more than any other team in the majors. They're fanning over 10.2 times per game. The Rays are also in the bottom 10 in home hits per game as well. They're taking on a Toronto team who pounds the baseball, top 3 in scoring, top 3 in hits. Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s first in the majors in batting average, RBI, and OPS. The Sluggers hitting .340 with 73 ribbies and a 1.110 OPS. Vladdy's also smashed 28 home runs, which is second in the majors as well. Meanwhile, Marcus Semien, he's hit 21 homers and knocked in 54. The Blue Jays also have Ross Stripling on the mound here today. The righty struck out 73 batters in just 71 innings of work. When it comes to the total on this one, Toronto's 13-8 to the under in their divisional games on the road. Meanwhile, the Rays are 9-7 to the under in their divisional home games themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Toronto Blue Jays plus 105 and the under 8.5. Next ball game, Tigers Twins 2:10 p.m. East. The Minnesota Twins are minus 185, totals 9.5. Bailey Ober for Minnesota, Kyle Funkhauser for Detroit. Funkhauser's 3-0 with a 2.59 ERA and a 1.15 whip. Despite a little bit of a skid here recently, the Tigers have still won 6 out of their last 10. And they rank in the top 10 in fewest walks given up on the road. They're taking on a Twins club who's 13 games under 500, and they have a losing home record. The Twins have also gotten the W in just 18 out of 41 divisional games as well. Minnesota's in the bottom 3 in runs allowed. They're also in the bottom 3 in hits allowed as well. Bailey Ober comes into today's start with a 4.84 ERA and a 1.31 whip. When it comes to the total on this one, Minnesota's 11-6 to the over in their divisional home games. Meanwhile, the Tigers are 26-20 to the over when they travel. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Detroit Tigers plus 1.5 and the over 9.5 runs. Next contest, Nats Giants 4:05 East. The San Francisco Giants are minus $2 with the total at 8.5 juice to the over. Anthony DeSclafani for San Francisco. Big John Lester for Washington. Now, Lester has just 2 wins thus far in this season. 5.34 ERA, 1.63 whip. The Washington Nationals are in second to last place in the NL East, and they've dropped 7 out of their last 9. This Washington pitching staff is in the bottom 10 in runs allowed on the road. And speaking of the road, Washington has gotten the W in just 18 out of 41 games away from their home field. They're taking on a first-place San Francisco club who leads the majors in fewest walks allowed per 9. Anthony DeSclafani, he's 9-3 on the year with a 2.84 ERA and a 1.02 whip. The Giants are in the top 5 in fewest hits allowed per game, and they give up just 3.6 runs per contest as well. The Giants are also 28-13 straight up at Oracle Park. When it comes to the total in this one, the Giants are 20-14 to the over on their home field. Meanwhile, Washington saw 4 out of their last 5 road games get over the number themselves. I'm going to lean toward the San Francisco Giants -1.5. In the over 8.5 runs. Of that, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup of our Part 1 video. It is going to be White Sox versus the Orioles, 4:05 Eastern first pitch. The Chicago White Sox are -220 with a total at 10. Lucas Giolito for Chicago, Thomas Eshelman for Baltimore. Eshelman's got a 7.16 ERA and a 1.71 whip. The righty's still waiting on his first win of the 2021 campaign. The last place Orioles have the fewest wins in the American League. They find themselves 31 games below 500. The O's have also gotten the W in just 13 out of 41 home games, and they're dead last in runs allowed. They're taking on a first-place White Sox team who's on a 3-game winning streak, and they lead the majors in striking batters out on the road. Lucas Giolito, he's got himself 116 strikeouts on the season, along with a 1.16 whip. The righty's also got 6 wins thus far in the year as well. The Chicago lineup is in the top 3 in road scoring. Tim Anderson's batting .312 with 129 total bases. He's actually in the top 10 in the majors in batting average. Meanwhile, Jose Abreu, he's in the top 5 in runs batted in. The first baseman, he's got 66 RBI along with 15 home runs. When it comes to the total in this one, the White Sox went 80% to the over in their last 10 outings, 5-2 to the over in their last 7 when traveling. Meanwhile, the O's saw 7 out of their last 10 ball games get over the number themselves, 3-0 to the over as the home team. I'm going to lean toward the Chicago White Sox -1.5. In the over 10 runs of that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap, powered to you by my Patreon website. I like Toronto +105, under 8.5. Detroit +1.5, over 9.5. San Francisco -1.5, over 8.5 runs. And before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 2-0 in our last 2 Major League Baseball tier package picks on my Patreon website. We're also 3-1 in our last 4 Major League Baseball tier package picks in that very same category. I'm going to lean toward the Chicago White Sox -1.5. In the over 10 runs of that, guys, now it's time for some shout-outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to William Phillips, who was actually itching for an MLB video here today. Shout out to William Phillips. Chris Reed, Ralph with a 4, Moneyball365, James Medina, Mike DePaz, Chris Diaz, Thomas Matias. Shout out to Summertime. And last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my good friend, Tegan Niemeyer. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. As always, if you guys end up getting a package here today on my Patreon website, just keep in mind Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here on Patreon, you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of July. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.